Welcome to EP Daily from Stockholm, Sweden. Today on the show, we give you our thoughts on the Star Wars Battlefront beta.
Plus, the force is strong with the senior producer of Battlefront, and I find out why.
Plus, we hop into the old EP time machine for a look back at Battlefront 1 and 2. Also on the show, we've got a brand new Star Wars-related toy table, a Star Wars memory, all that and a whole lot more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. We're your hosts, Victor Lucas and Marissa Roberto, and we bring you the latest on everything cool every single day. And what's cool today is the Star Wars Battlefront beta, which we got our hands on, and the whole world gets their hands on it tomorrow.
Yeah, we got a little taste, a little preview.
In the beta, which everybody will see, there's missions, which are solo player. You can play cooperatively. And then there's also a up to 40 people fighting on either side of a walker battle as it's invading into Hoth. And I think that's the big money payoff experience for the beta.
I never have the confidence to take down an AT-AT or an AT-AT. I never have the confidence to do it, but then when you do it, it feels really good. They have these great rewarding moments in the game.
On the Rebel side, what you got to do is do these uplinks, these satellite uplinks that allow the Y-Wings to come in and take it out. And when we were playing the game, it felt like everybody was just out for blood. Everybody was just shooting at each other. And so the Imperials kept winning over and over again. So there's a little strategy for you if you're playing on the beta and you're playing on the Rebel side. Don't go after the Stormtroopers. Go after getting those uplinks down, or you're gonna get slaughtered by the walkers.
Yeah, but everybody's still, the thing is with these games that I always feel that everybody's just out for the number kill. Like everyone's out for
they want that kill-death ratio,
Exactly, because at the end of the game you want to see that your name is at the top of the list. So that would be my, another gripe with me. It's not even with the game, it's just with gamers in general. When we play these games, we're so conditioned to want to kill.
This is why I'm really curious to hear your viewpoint on it, because Star Wars is really a property for everybody. And I feel that Battlefront 1 and 2 from Pandemic did a pretty good job at being pretty inclusive. And, you know, I think that the challenge now, because they have the precision mechanics and the shooting mechanics based on all that battlefield experience, but I think the challenge now is making it, you know, wide open enough that anybody can walk up to this experience and have a great time. I feel like in terms of visual fidelity and audio fidelity and the locations,
so beautiful.
It's like photoreal Star Wars. It's like the imaginings that you had when you played the previous two games. In your mind, you were playing graphics that look this good. Vehicles are super fun to control, and one of the things that's different about the vehicle controls in this game as opposed to the previous two, you should be chasing the vehicles, not so much the ground battle. It's very hard to pick out those little ant-sized opponents down there, but but
it feels so good to take them out.
Oh, it does. But when you're taking down enemy ships, it's unbelievable, and you can put that L trigger down and target them if you want. I played with a controller. You can play with mouse and keyboard on the PC if you prefer that.
So QWERTY.
You owe it to yourself, no matter what platform you can play this on, to get to a machine and download it and give this a shot.
Oh, of course.
I think this is going to be a wonderful final experience.
Play, yeah. And I'm actually excited to jump into it with other people that are new to this with me, and not just in a room full of people that are clearly out to get me.
You'll see later on in the show when we interview them, they killed themselves to build this incredible game, and I can't wait for the finished title. But I don't want to take anything away from Battlefront 1 and 2. We did a lot of stories on them. In fact, here's a story on Battlefront 1.
I've had a lot of crazy assignments in my days with EP, but this one takes the cake. We're on Yavin with Chris from LucasArts talking about Star Wars Battlefront. What are we doing here, Chris?
Well, we're here witnessing a battle. The rebels have just ambushed the Imperials, okay? And
is this safe? I mean, the laser blast right here.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. If you're making a game about Star Wars Battlefronts, you need to be in the battlefront.
There's a difference between in the battlefront and being dead like this guy right here.
He's just stunned. He'll be fine.
Just tell me about the game then, because I'm freaked out.
Well, the game allows you to participate in the battles that you've always seen in the movies. The Hoth battle where you have the ATSTs and the AT-ATs and the snow troopers and everything going on. You can actually participate in that as a foot soldier. You can play the Imperial pilots, you can play stormtroopers, you can play a Republic Vanguard. Those guys get rocket launchers. You've got rebel soldiers, you've got snipers, and then from the new Star Wars, we've got droidicas, we've got super battle droids, we've got the Republic clone. It's totally insane.
Chris, what what are we seeing right now?
Right here we have the rebels. They're fanning out in formation. They're trying to find the Imperials. What they're gonna do is probably set up some sort of ambush because the rebels don't like face on. They're more guerrilla tactics.
So it's sort of, there's a lot of stealth, it seems like, right? Is that what the game's like? There's a lot of stealth?
Well, you'll notice up on that hill there. Go ahead and use these. There's an Imperial sniper who caught it all. He's definitely gonna let his guys know. Now here come the stormtroopers. They're tracking the rebels. Make sure you keep your eyes down. They will not hesitate to shoot you. Keep your eyes down. Don't look at them.
Stay alert. Keep in formation.
Notice how they walk two abreast down the pathway. It makes them an easy target for the rebel ambush. We've got a rebel sniper over here.
I can faintly see him in the distance there. We better get out of here. Let's go. So what kind of weapons do these guys have?
They've got all sorts of. Whoa. We should probably stay a little lower. There's an ATST right over the hill. But we've got rocket launchers. We've got blaster rifles. You get to participate in the Battle of Hoth. You get to go on Endor and race through in speeder bikes. You get to get into ATSTs, air vehicles, land vehicles, over 30 different vehicles.
So you're going to be, playing on foot. You're going to be in vehicles. What else are you going to do in the actual missions for this game?
Well, you're actually gonna, yeah. Well, if you play single player, we've got 3 different ways to play. You can do a galactic conquest where you're just invading 10 different planets, 15 different maps, go into different areas. You get to go on Hoth, you get to go to Yavin, you get to go to Endor. Then you can also play historical campaigns. You can do the Battle of Hoth the way that we had it at Lucasfilm way long time ago. And when we go to Hoth, by the way, you're gonna want to dress normal.
So, Chris, what can you tell us about the Episode 3 content? Are we going to see a lot of new Star Wars stuff in this game?
It's time to go. Whoa!
Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh my God, are you all right? I don't know what's going on. Oh my God, there's just an ATST. This is Jeff Keighley signing off for EP.
Oh, poor Jeff. I hope he's okay.
Oh, he's fine.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, here's our look at Battlefront 2.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
Hi, Giz. Nice to meet you.
Giz. I had a bad experience last time, so hopefully this one's going to go a bit better.
I heard that, absolutely. We've got a lot more security now. We've got bounty hunters and stormtroopers.
See, as soon as
everywhere.
I see Star Wars characters, I know this is going to go badly.
No, everything's going to be okay this time, Jeff. Trust me. So these are the digs. Do you want a martini?
No, not when I'm working, Giz. Wow, it's a great facility you guys have here. Really impressive.
Yeah, thanks. Ever since the Empire came, they really kind of spruced up the place. They've added auto turrets, some probe droids, and some holographic projector technology.
Do you mind turning it on? I'd love to take a look at the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's okay.
Wow, game looks great. Now, everybody loved the first Battlefront, but what new things are you guys doing in the sequel?
One of the coolest things we have is space combat. We have fully realized space environments. We've got interiors and exteriors. We've got hangar combat and then seamless transitions into space combat. We've got bombers, flyers, transports, and are really kind of capturing that whole Star Wars feel.
What about characters? I heard you might actually be able to play Yoda in this game?
Yeah, you get to play all the classic heroes as well as all the heroes from the new trilogy. You get to play as General Grievous, as Dooku, as the Emperor, as Darth Vader, as well as all the good guys from both trilogies. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia, Chewie. In multiplayer, the heroes are a reward for being the best player on the field. So if you're the best guy, you get to be Luke Skywalker, while the best guy on the Empire side gets to be Darth Vader, and you can actually confront each other in the middle of the battlefield. So yeah, that's a glimpse of the game.
No, the game looks fantastic. Now, the one thing I forgot to ask you about was weapons. I mean, we have lightsabers, but what else do we have in this game?
We have a ton of new weapons. We've got the Bothan Spy has a invisibility cloak he can use to stealth around. He's got an incinerator. Vader has force choke.
That's going to be so much fun.
Dooku has force lightning.
Right.
Darth Maul has force leap. He can do all these. Oh, hold on.
Here's the prisoner you asked for. Where do you
What's
want
this about?
Oh, it's not a big deal. Can you throw him in the carbon freezing chamber on 16?
him? Come with me, or let's go.
What do you do to your testers? God, not this again.
Oh man, incredible memories. We had so much fun putting those segments together.
Well, Victor Lucas, guess what? The past is behind us.
It
We've
is.
got to move forward. So after the break, we've got the senior producer of the brand new Battlefront.
Hey, I'm Doug Jones. You know, I have some Star Wars memories because when the first movie came out in theaters in 1977, I'm going to say, I was just about to turn 17 years old. Now, as a teenager, I'm impressionable. Science fiction had been around for a long time, but not that kind of science fiction. The kind where the visual effects are so pristine and so believable that you're like, ugh. believe it or not, the standout moment was the playful chase scene through the forest on those hovery, motorcycle-y things. And I was just like, how do they do that, right? Now, of course, now it's like, there was a green screen, there was a thing, there was wires, I don't know. But then it was like, it's magic, and it's really happening.
Loving these Star Wars memories. You know, we've collected all of them in a handy-dandy playlist on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EP-Network-TV.
It's handy and dandy.
There's a lot to remember there, too.
Yeah.
But we're celebrating the launch of the Star Wars Battlefront beta here in Stockholm, Sweden, which is tomorrow.
And eating a lot of meatballs.
A lot of bread, a lot of cheese.
Yeah.
But you got to speak with somebody very cool, didn't you?
Yep. It's Sigurlina in Varstotir, but she just goes by Lina, thank God.
Thank God, yes.
You are in charge of one of the biggest games of what's sure to be one of the biggest games of the year. So I have to ask, how are you doing this? Must be very stressful. I would be stressed.
Well, as we get closer to launch, of course, the pressure is mounting and the stress is mounting. But I think that I have a pretty privileged position. I think many people would like to be in my shoes. I feel like this is an amazing opportunity for DICE to make this game. And we've really put our heart and soul into it. And I hope that shows. And I hope that people will be happy when they play.
There are many places that we could go to in this universe, but where do we jump in as gamers off the top? Where do we see? Where do we go?
We go to the original trilogy of movies. We go to that classical Star Wars, which is my first impression of Star Wars and the core of Star Wars for me. We go to Endor, we go to Tatooine, we go to Hoth, and then we go to the planet of Sullust, which is a planet that we haven't really seen before, but we've heard about. It's where Nien Nunb is from, and it's really where the Empire makes their war machine. So we have this new planet that we're really bringing to life in this game. And then we go to different places on these planets, and we meet alien races, and we see stormtroopers and scout troopers and AT-STs and AT-ATs and X-Wings and TIE Fighters and all this hardware that's so iconic and so core to Star Wars.
I know that you have come from other games. You actually even worked on a Ubisoft game as well. So what has your experience been like working with the folks here at DICE?
The experience of working at DICE has been incredible. This is the third gaming studio that I work for, and the level of talent of the people that I work with. Every day I'm amazed. I mean, it's obvious to look at the artwork in our game and marvel at the talent of our artists and our tech people, but it's the audio people, it's the designers, it's the other producers, it's everyone that I work with on a daily basis that contributes with a high level of talent and a lot of passion.
I see the passion in you, especially when you were addressing us earlier. You can tell that you have a lot of heart in this. So I'm assuming that you have a lot of experience with Star Wars. You grew up with Star Wars. What is your relationship with this franchise?
I remember Star Wars from a very, very early age. I think my generation grew up with Star Wars. We were young. The first movie came out before I was even born. Yeah. So I feel like Star Wars has always been a part of my culture surrounding and this amazing universe that all of us have loved throughout the years. And now we're witnessing the renaissance of Star Wars. It's incredible for me to get to be an active contributor to bringing Star Wars into the future.
Just living in the Star Wars universe. So is it ever a thing where maybe we need to just unplug from Star Wars for a little while? When you go home, do you have Star Wars posters everywhere, or is it just like blank space? You can't see any more Hoth. I want no more Hoth.
I actually have a pretty big photo of Darth Vader on my living room wall. So yeah, I have a bit of Star Wars at home as well. But I think we've just started playing some games and watching stuff together, me and my older kid. So there's Star Wars at home as well. But I don't really feel the urge. You know, maybe 2 years is not enough to unplug from Star Wars.
In this battle of light and dark, would you say that you're on the light side, or do you like to go dark?
I would say I'm on the dark side.
Your dark side. I think you're the first person to say that. This makes me very excited. What attracts you to the dark side?
I think for me, I can't think of a more iconic character than Darth Vader. I think that he's the perfect villain of any movie, and he's so incredibly iconic, and he's also the first thing I remember about Star Wars. And he has always had like this, he's what embodies Star Wars for me.
Good job, my friend.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, she was the first lady that I've ever interviewed from Iceland.
Oh, you always remember your first.
Yeah, you do.
All right, we've got more from Star Wars Battlefront and Stockholm, Sweden when we return.
The
toys I've got for the table today probably don't need that big of an introduction because pop vinyl figures have been huge for a long time. They are always massive at things like the San Diego Comic-Con. You just see the line stretching for miles. But I've got my first two of the Force Awakens figures here. I've got a First Order Stormtrooper. I love the design on the Stormtrooper. And I've got Kylo Ren here with his guarded lightsaber. Of course, these things feature little bobbleheads, right? So they've got the oversized head, the sort of cutesy, super deformed kind of look. I've loved these things for a long time. I've got a bunch of them in my collection. I've got, of course, DC and Marvel superheroes and stuff like that, and some old Star Wars ones as well. There aren't tons and tons of the Force Awakens toys available on shelves right now. They got depleted by lots and lots of fans going out there crazy, wanting to pick all of those things up. When I saw these were kind of my first toy snatches that I got for the film. I'm kind of waiting to see the movie before I start thinking about buying any Hot Toys or any of the bigger figures that also look incredibly cool. They got everything right here though, the new sort of chiseled extra sort of black areas on the Stormtrooper helmet. So cool. Love the blaster. The color schematics on the blaster are all defined with the character as well. And the lightsaber is the big showstopper, I think, here with the Kylo Ren figure. These are awesome. They're definitely going to be sitting right beside my BB-8 from Sphero. You know, I just had this holographic vision telling me that this won't be the last Force Awakens figure we're going to have on the toy table.
Yeah, you know what? I saw that same vision, and it's telling me you have no more room on your shelf.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's switch back to Battlefront, the video game, and find out more with the game's design director.
The Empire is preparing to throw everything they've got at you.
Nick Figueres is the design director on Star Wars Battlefront. That would terrify me. Did that terrify you when they said, okay, we want you to design direct a new Star Wars Battlefront game?
Yes.
Yes?
That was actually quite terrifying, but also, you know, who can say no, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah, no, it was great. I still remember the very day when I was given that question. So, yeah, it's been an awesome ride, you know, getting to like, oh, you get to do your own Star Wars game. I couldn't be more excited.
Talk to us about the early sort of whiteboard discussions and the meetings that you guys had. What did you want to hit with Star Wars Battlefront?
We're kids of the 70s. We grew up with the original films, and we played with all the toys and did all that. So I remembered when we played with action figures and just having your own Star Wars fantasy. That was the core of all this whiteboarding things. So it kind of became a game about fulfilling your Star Wars battle fantasies, and that's, you know, what you do. You can jump into your X-wing and be Luke Skywalker and just duke it out on these planets and just have fun. Yeah, we're focusing on the original trilogy era, you know, the Galactic Civil War. So you have Rebels and you have the Empire, and that's the good versus evil fight that you see in Star Wars Battlefront. We have Jedis, we have, you know, Darth Vader's in there, so there's Sith in there. Iconic vehicles, X-Wings, TIE Fighters, Millennium Falcon. You could be on Tatooine, you could be on Hoth, and you have basically a mix of all those iconic things that you remember from the films, but now you want to play with them, you know, and do whatever you want to do. Make your own mark.
You made it, thank the Force. We've located your crash site, but it looks like the Empire will reach you first. Prepare to defend yourselves until we can get there.
Can you run down some of the features? Like how many planets are we going to be visiting, and what are some of the new mechanics that we haven't seen in a Battlefront game before?
Well, first and foremost, you're going to have these 4 planets that we've shown. You know, you have Hoth, you have Tatooine, you have Sullust, and you have Endor. And the battles that you remember from the films that happen on those places are the fantasies that you're going to be in. So we have built a lot of different types of modes to play. You know, you can be a walker, you know, in the Walker Assault, for example. You can fly your X-Wing in the Fighter Squadron mode. You can be a hero in the middle of a Supremacy mode. And it's a wide and rich combination of all those fantasies defined as a lot of different modes. You can play co-op, you can play multiplayer, you can play single player. So it's a lot of things to do for fans out there.
When was that moment when you were playing the game in development phase where you went, oh my God, we've got this, we've nailed this, we have the feel of the Battlefront game I want to make?
Oh yeah, there's actually been quite a few of those moments. I remember one of the really first prototypes when we actually managed to get the Stormtrooper model and the iconic sound, you know, the original blaster sound in there. That was probably the first moment, because you see, okay, I'm a Stormtrooper, and you hear that. That's the first moment, and that's really like, oh, we're making it. It's Star Wars, and yeah, that's very exciting.
Nick, awesome guy, and also extremely tired.
Well, sure, yeah. They spent a lot of time on this game, right? They're still working on it as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
But don't go anywhere because you've got your Star Wars probably related Twitter question coming up after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. We are here in Stockholm, Sweden, and it's an incredible city. Make sure you get out here sometime. We got to thank EA and DICE for having us out for this amazing opportunity to get our hands on the game, talk with people that built it, and they made it right there, right behind us in that building right there.
Baby, history happening right behind us. Listen, we have a Twitter question of the day that is, of course, Star Wars related.
Of course.
This one comes from Tyler Talks Games. He asked if you were to get the Star Wars Battlefront bundle with the Han Solo mini fridge, what would you put in it? Of course you are.
Blue milk, of course. What else would I put in it?
I'm just going to go with beer.
Beer.
I need some beer.
All right.
It's important when you game.
Do they make Chewbacca beer?
Probably.
All right, that's what you should get.
Sure, it'll be really hairy.
If you've got a good question for us, or you want to get caught up in the shows, go to epn.tv.
We've got more coming for the next episode of EP Daily, including this. Take a look.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
We Are Robin it's a brand new book starring brand new characters, a bunch of teenagers in Gotham who sort of take the mantle of Robin, and make it their own. And it becomes a movement of young people in Gotham saying, we're taking this and we're going to do things the way that we want to do it. And of course they get into trouble.